Okay, so the first concept we can use here is cornerback alignment. I'm specifically talking about these outside cornerbacks, which are going to be the ones nearest to the sideline. So I'm going to draw a sideline right there, and I'm going to draw a sideline right there, just so you can get an idea as to what I'm talking about when I say outside corner. Because here we've got four wide receivers. These guys are inside. We're not necessarily looking at them when we talk about corner alignment. We're talking about these corners on the outside here. Now, in man coverage, they're going to be inside a little bit on this wide receiver. And they're going to be squared up with the wide receiver. They're not going to be, if I could draw an arrow, let's say the cornerbacks, instead of them being right here, they're right here. They're face to face with this wide receiver right here. They're not, if I could draw an arrow, they're drawing straight down, right? And the reason for this is because this is man-to-man coverage. You're sticking with that guy. You're not worried really about anything else. You're not worried about what this guy's doing. And these are the offensive linemen. These are defensive linemen. I'm not even going to draw those out. I'm not going to draw defensive tackle, defensive end. We don't need any of that. We're just really focusing on this cornerback right here when we talk about cornerback alignment for this specific concept. Now, first of all, they're going to be inside technique. And again, because if you know man-to-man coverage, we're going to have this corner right here, this corner right here, this corner right here. Everybody's got a man. The Sam linebacker, he can take this guy, and then maybe we had the free safety playing a zone, and the Mike, maybe he blitzes or he drops back in coverage, whatever, it doesn't matter. But in man-to-man coverage, you're typically not going to have a lot of zone help. Again, here you have two guys, but two is usually the most you're going to have in man coverage. Usually the most you're going to have is maybe two safeties up top, or a look like this. Maybe the two safeties, one comes down and plays a robber. This may all sound a little bit confusing. That's not what matters. What I just said does not matter. But nonetheless, what does matter is the max amount of zone help you're going to have in man is typically two defenders. Sometimes it'll only be one, sometimes it's zero. So usually a lot is on your shoulders in man-to-man coverage. So you need some help. Here we've got two guys. Let's just erase this Mike. Let's act like this linebacker right here is not dropping coverage, instead he blitzes. And now we've only got a free safety up top for help. A lot is on you. All these other players have their own assignments, and zone coverage is a little different. When we're going to get to that in a minute. But in man-to-man coverage, you need to find help. You don't have as much help from your teammates. So you need to use the sideline, especially if you're a cornerback out here. Utilize this help you have right here. This is the sideline. This is out of bounds right here. The receiver can't make a play there. So first of all, you're going to see them line up in inside technique because, again, they don't have any help except for this one free safety over the middle. And because of this, they just want to take away as much space as they can. So they're not going to line up outside and give their receiver a free release inside here where they have all this space. Instead, you're going to line up a little bit on the inside. This is about their left shoulder to this wide receiver's right shoulder. And you just want to take away this inside route, and you want to force them onto the sideline because now they don't have much space to work with. You're basically, it's like a sandwich. The sideline's one piece of the bread, you're the other piece of the bread, and they're whatever you want to put in it because it's just that tight. There's nowhere they can really go. But if you line up outside now here, they've got all this space to work with, and you don't want that. You want to take away as much space as you can when you're man coverage, and always, whenever you're in defense, you want to take away as much space, but especially in man coverage when you don't have much help. Now, the difference between man and zone when we talk about cornerback alignment, I'll erase all of these, and we'll draw a Sam linebacker right back there, wide receiver in the slot, got a corner on him. And we're gonna keep looking at these outside cornerbacks, and we're gonna get rid of this Sam. We're gonna get out of. Actually, no, we're not gonna get rid of the Sam linebacker. We're just gonna get out of this nickel. No, we're not gonna get out of the nickel package. I'm not sure what I wanted to do. We're gonna keep this wide receiver here. Let's just say we got free safety. We're gonna put the strong safety in now. Okay, free safety, strong safety. Those guys are up top now. In zone coverage, because again, it is zone. We got a corner here, and this Mike right here is no longer blitzing. He's going to be dropping back in his zone as well. And just to get ourselves out of the nickel package, like I said I was going to do earlier, we're going to put a will linebacker right here. That's going to leave us, and then this pass rusher right here. So now, again, this may be a tip-off right away because you don't have anybody lined up next to the wide receivers, but we're just going to be focusing on these guys outside because usually there are going to be some times where they might bring this, you might have, instead of these two linebackers, instead of one of these edges, you might have a safety or a cornerback that's lined up right here, and just for the sake of it, we'll do that. We'll get rid of one of these defenders here, we'll get rid of our will again, and put another corner here, just because we don't want to make it a dead giveaway right away. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But just focusing on cornerback alignment here, if we have... It's very odd to see a corner right here in zone, but I just didn't want to give it away. But if we have... What's the outside cornerback's alignment going to be in zone coverage? Instead of facing the receiver like this, pointing down, and their face right to the wide receiver, it's going to be pointed to the quarterback, because we're trying to read their eyes. This wide receiver is no longer, we're not playing man to man, so we don't need to stay with them. If they're in our zone, we're going to try to contain them, but the wide receiver is not our main focus. Our main focus is staying in our zone and reading the quarterback's eyes. So instead of pointing down here like we do in man, this guy's going to be pointing here. So typically, a lot of the time, you'll see their hips turn. Cornerback, instead of facing the wide receiver straight on, they're going to kind of turn at a bit of a weird angle, and it'll be pointing towards the quarterback. And the same thing goes for over here. They're going to be pointing towards the quarterback instead of the wide receiver. Now, the other thing is the technique that these guys are in. So in man, as I said, you want to be inside technique to force them outside and force them to the sideline, because that's our help. We don't have these other guys. We have that one free safety, but our teammates have their own assignments. They're either rushing the passer or they've got their own man assignment. We don't have much help over the middle, so we want to try to take away as much space as possible. In zone, it's a bit different. We just want to stay in our zone, and we want to try to funnel the wide receivers into other zones. So let's say we've got this Mike... I feel like I have one too many. No, we're just rushing three. Never mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. All right. So we have 11 guys. So let's say this is cover 2. We're going to have this strong safety. He's taking this portion of the field. This free safety is taking this portion of the field. Then we've got a cornerback right here. He's taking the flat. This cornerback's taking the flat. And then we got guys lined up right here. Let's just say, for the sake of things, that this is the case. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We can draw this guy. None of this matters. Usually you're not going to see a defense that's like this, the same crisscrossing. None of that matters. What we're trying to focus on, the point is these guys are in zone coverage, and we've got a lot of guys here now, because before man coverage, we had no help except for that one free safety. But now, these guys, they're in a zone here, and you have help over the middle. So what you're going to do as a cornerback, instead of just lining up an inside technique, I'm just going to line up normally, maybe even to the outside. Probably not, because I do have the sideline right there, but I'm just trying to funnel them inside, right? I'm just trying to funnel them to where people are. There are people over here, and I'm going to pick them up, whatever. But really the big thing is too, let's say this isn't the look, because sometimes this corner won't just be playing in the flat. Okay, let's say whatever, this strong safety and this free safety, instead of playing the zones over just half of the field, let's say you're in cover 3 or cover 4, we'll say it's cover 4, you've still got this free safety back here. He's taking this quarter of the field. Strong safety's taking this quarter of the field, and then instead of these cornerbacks playing the flats, these outside corners, they're dropping back, which you're going to see a lot, and typically they wouldn't be this close, but they're dropping back, and now we've got 4 guys back. But again, it doesn't really matter what these guys are doing, whatever. The point is it's zone coverage, and let's look at what these cornerbacks are doing. Their assignment, because again, like in man coverage, your target is the wide receiver. In zone coverage, your target is to get to this zone. This is your assignment. This is your job, guarding this area. So, typically, a lot of the time when you're a quarterback, right before you say hut and you snap the ball, some cornerbacks will start backpedaling already before the snap. And they'll start cheating over to their zone because you want to get there as quickly as possible. Now, when you're dropping back into a zone like this, nobody's gonna really beat you there if you've already, you're already closer to the spot than this wide receiver if he's running the go route. But still, a lot of these corners, they'll start backpedaling before the snap, and then they'll be up here. By the time you say Hutton, they're moving their way back there. They're not going to be doing that and then crashing back in if it's man-to-man coverage. That's a dead giveaway that it's zone typically as well. I hope I didn't confuse you with all these zones of the will, but again, just don't disregard that. It's these guys, just watch the outside corners, and again, in man coverage, they're going to have that inside technique. They're going to be facing the receivers head on, and they're going to be trying to force them outside. But in zone coverage, since we have all this help over the middle, we're going to be trying to push them inside. We usually are looking at the quarterback's eyes, so we're not going to be head on. Instead of looking at this angle again like we did in man, we're going to be looking at the quarterback's eyes instead, and we're going to be at a bit of a different angle. So that's, first and foremost, that is cornerback alignment. All right, so our next concept is motion. Now, in the NFL, a lot, especially in the NFL, and even college, and it could even go down to high school, but mainly the higher level up you get, the more advanced this stuff starts to get. In the NFL, you'll see a lot of motion because teams always want to know, are they in man or zone? What coverage are they running before the snap? It's really it's what teams do all the time. And one of the ways that they figure out what coverage they're in, besides cornerback alignment, is motion. Motion can be a dead giveaway to a man or a zone coverage. In this instance, we've got 3 cornerbacks right here. We've got the single high free safety. We got the Will, the Mike, the Sam, and we got 4 defensive linemen. So right now we got that cornerback on the inside. This cornerback alignment right here that we talked about just a minute ago suggests that they're in man coverage. But maybe they're cheating it a little bit. Maybe they're slightly, but it's really tough for the quarterback to tell all the way across from the field. And he kind of wants a little bit of a second opinion. He wants to make sure, it is man coverage. So one thing he can do, he can motion any of these receivers, not the offensive line, but the receivers. This wide receiver here, this wide receiver here, this wide receiver here, this tight end, this running back, and let's say he chooses the running back. So he motions the running back out, and now the running back's here instead of in the backfield. So this running back's no longer here. The quarterback motioned him out, and this Mike linebacker right here, he follows him. And now the Mike is right here. That is man coverage. That is when we know we are getting a man look from the defense. Now, this doesn't mean some of these guys might be in zone. Let's say you got this guy right here, man-to-man coverage, this guy right here. Obviously, you've already established the Mike and the running back. Let's say we've got the Sam and the tight end, this corner, this wide receiver. Maybe we see this Will drop back in coverage and this free safety drop back in coverage. That's still man coverage. You just got some guys helping in a zone. You got to cover one man here. So how do we use this motion concept to determine that the defense is in zone coverage? So let's say, again, for the sake of things, we motion the running back out. And I'm going to show some more examples after, just to make this a little clearer and just to give more than just this one example. Let's say we motion the running back out and nobody follows him. Maybe this Mike bumps the Sam a little bit, so he takes a step to his right to our left, and the Sam takes a step to our left and his right. There we go. Now we know it's zone because nobody followed him. They might talk a little bit and they might bump over, but if nobody directly follows him, if multiple guys are moving on one motion and nobody's really directly on this running back, we know we've got zone coverage. I'll show another example. Let's say this running back does a motion. We're going back to the pre-snap now, and we motion this wide receiver over a little bit, and we motion him right over here. Now he's right there instead of right here. This cornerback doesn't follow him. This cornerback that we thought was in man coverage is actually covering the flat right here, or he's dropping back. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We just know he's in zone coverage. And so far, just for anybody that was wondering, it looks like he would be in the flat considering he's kind of pressed up, but who knows? He could end up backpedaling after this. But that's not the point. Again, it's just to determine, are they in zone or man? After we determine that, which is not what we're going over in this video, after that you determine what specific coverage they're in. But first you need to know, is it man or zone? And then we can take that next step. It's a process. There's steps to this process, and this is usually your first step. And by motioning, again, you're motioning this wide receiver. No one follows him, so if nobody's following him, this cornerback stays. Maybe he starts to move back. You know it's zone coverage. And even sometimes you'll see offenses, instead of, I'll erase this guy too. We can even keep him here. We can keep him here, and let's say this cornerback ends up in the slot with him. This is pre-snap again. No motions have happened. This is just your defense from the get-go. Some teams will even do what's called a yo-yo motion, and they'll move like 2 to 3 steps this way. Sometimes a little more, whatever, around like 3 steps, and they'll just come right back to their spot. And the cornerback, if he follows him, he goes here and he goes back to the spot, well, they're man coverage because they followed the receiver. The defender that was on him, you had somebody following the guy you motioned. But if he stayed put, maybe he bumps out a little bit but doesn't follow him back, or maybe he just doesn't go to the start, they're in zone coverage. Now, again, you're not typically going to get a zone look out of this. Like right now, the defense, this is a normal 4-3 defense. You'll see it a lot in the NFL, which basically means, again, this isn't going over today's video, but just to clarify what I just said, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and then 4 defensive backs, these 3 corners, and the free safety. You're typically not going to get a zone look out of this defense. But, just for the sake of things, again, that's not what we're going over today. It's just identifying the man or the zone coverage. Now, this third and final concept we have out of cornerback alignment and motion in this, which is essentially wide receiver tight, like skill position sets. Trips comes to mind, which is really the one we're going to highlight today because it's common and it works. It's those sets, those formations from our skill position guys. And that's the most complicated, I guess, of the 3. And it's not too hard, though. It's really not too hard. I'm going to show you the basic one, which is trips. That's why I said it at the beginning. But here, again, we've got 2 receivers to the right, a tight end and the wide receiver to the left, and then we've got the quarterback under center with the running back behind him. And we've got a 3-4 defense this time and decided to mix it up a little bit. So instead of 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers, we've got 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. Then we got the jack linebacker. I just decided to switch it up a little bit just to get some new looks in there. But yeah, right now there's this is really tough. Like, you cannot tell if this is man or zone. The cornerback alignment's not really giving too much away. Just for the sake of things, I kind of put them inside a little bit. And then you haven't motioned anybody yet. And the look you're getting right now is not giving anything away. And this will make sense in a couple minutes after I explain trips. And we're going to go trips right here. And there are a lot of different formations you can use to tip off man or zone. But this is kind of the more basic one. It's seen a lot. But again, just for the sake of things, we're going to motion this wide receiver right here from the right slot out to the left outside. We're not even going to put him in the left slot. We're going to put him all the way left outside. So this wide receiver goes this way. And again, this motion, because I'm trying to implement these things multiple times to show you guys it's valid more than once, this will linebacker follows him. We know it's man. But that's not going to happen in this case. This wide receiver is just going to start I wanted to show you guys that look because you'll see why you cannot tip off whether it's man or zone out of what I'm going to show you. That sounds complicated, but trust me for a second. So this cornerback, let's say he bumps outside, right? He bumps here. Let's give a new defensive look. We've got, we're going to take the jack linebacker and just go with the 3-3, and I'm going to get I'm probably going to get a nickel set, maybe a dime. No, we'll keep it nickel. We'll keep a nickel set, which is basically 5 defensive backs. And then we've got this Sam here. Now, I showed that formation again before, so when I explain this, you can go back and see why you really couldn't tip anything off from what I just showed you. So right now, this looks like I'm not going to make this as obvious, because right now that looked like man. Put that same linebacker right there. Instead of face up, he's a little bit inside, and he's playing the slot now, so it's different from outside. So right here, we got the 2 high safety, strong safety, and the free safety. We get the Mike linebacker, we get the Will, we get the Sam, and we are spreading this. I feel like there's one too many players. Yeah, I didn't mean to put this guy here still. That's what I was. This guy's out of the play. I was going to say, it's one too many people. And then I think we can put the Will 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can put the Will right here. Why not? Put him on the weak side as where he belongs. So we got trips left here. This is what trips is. It's when you have 3 wide receivers / tight ends / running backs all on the same side. And if there was a difference, you guys could realize now, you've got 3 guys lined up across from each other, and this is indicating man defense. Now, the reason this isn't always accurate, sometimes you may get this look, and although it usually is in trips, trips usually gives it away, but sometimes you may have the cornerback alignment give it away motion. Those are the quicker, more efficient ways, but sometimes a quarterback, instead of wasting that time, because going over to look at the cornerback's eyes, and especially the big one is motioning, that takes time, and you only have so long with the game clock, as we all know. So sometimes just putting them out in a formation, that can be a dead giveaway right away. And yeah, you've got to look and see where the defenders are, but that can be fairly quick. Because sometimes the cornerbacks don't give anything away until right before you snap it, or when you do snap it. That's why you have to have different ideas, different ways. You can't just rely on cornerback alignment, because that's not always going to give you the right answer. You can't always rely on motion, because sometimes you've got to hurry up and you don't have time to motion. Even though that one always gives it away. Motion always gives it away, but it sometimes just takes too long. You don't have that time. So sometimes you need to go something like this. And you need to rely on different concepts for different teams in different situations. And this one may be tricky, but it works. When you need a quick look and the cornerbacks are doing a good job disguising some things, because defenses like to disguise things a lot. Offenses are smart. They'll know what you're doing, so you've got to disguise some things. So defenses, sometimes the cornerback might give up inside technique. Most times they won't, but again, I'm just throwing out different things. Sometimes you need different ideas. This is why we have different concepts to diagnose man in zone coverage. So again, we've got this Sam linebacker with the tight end. We've got these 2 cornerbacks with the wide receiver. And based off what we're looking at so far, we're going to assume this is man coverage. We've got the 2 safeties. This would be a tip-off to cover 2. Okay. And then you've got man here, man here, man here, man here. And then you've got this Mike and this Will. And then you've got these 2 guys in zone. And then you've got the Mike and Will. This guy could be a quarterback spy, and this guy's taking the running back. This guy could be blitzing, and this Mike is pass rushing. Who knows? It doesn't matter. The point is, again, I say a lot of things, but they don't matter. What we're trying to focus on here is, again, the trips is giving away man. Whereas before, that formation I showed you before, when we had the wide receiver over here, and let's just keep it a corner. I'm not going to overcomplicate things as I already have. We'll put that Sam a little more in, and then we'll put the cornerback right here. Is this really giving away man or zone? Not really. When you have just two wide, two guys to the left, two guys to the left, two guys to the right, it's not really going to give away anything. But when you have three guys one way or another, that starts to tip off some things. You could put this is a dead giveaway for zone. Zone usually is the one that you get more answers to. Man coverage, again, like I'm going to say this, not all these concepts work 100% of the time. Sometimes you have to rely on other things. Your favorite might be just looking at the cornerback, because sometimes the cornerback might disguise something. So we're going to go back to that look the trips left that I had before. You may have trips left, and again, like that was a man look that we got before, but this works especially for reading zone. Like, you'll know if it's zone. Like, if you get what looks like man, sometimes that may be false. It may give you a false look, but you'll know if it's zone. Like, if you think it's zone, you know it's zone. Like, you'll never say, I think it's zone. You will say, I know it's zone. I can't stress that enough. So, again, like, let's say we got these two safeties here. Again, they're playing high. We've got this cornerback on this wide receiver. That looks like man coverage, although he's not really giving up inside technique. But this, again, looks like man. We have to kind of diagnose whether they're looking here, like I said in the cornerback alignment segment. But we're really going to focus on the trips left here. That's what's going to give things away. So let's go back to that 3-4-4 look I had earlier, where we throw in the Sam and the Jack. So let's say the Jack's kind of on the line of scrimmage right here, because typically the Jack linebacker is more of a pass rusher. So let's put them on the edge and say they're kind of looking like they're going to pass rush or contain this edge, which basically means what you guys need to know for the basics is he's not in coverage. That's what it looks like here. And maybe he is, but if he is, we got a free release right here. So he's probably not, especially considering they're usually more pass rushers. But then again, we're going to put this Sam right here. So that's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 defenders. So again, let's put this cornerback right here. And I'm going to slide this Sam over. And this Sam's going to be playing right here. That is zone coverage. That is zone coverage. It's a dead giveaway because, again, look, you've got this Sam kind of in the middle of the wide receiver because his assignment could be this left hash mark right here, and he's starting right there. Like, if they're in zone coverage, they're not going to, if his zone's over here, he's not going to be starting over here on this wide receiver, right? If he's got to dash all the way over here because, again, the wide receiver isn't his target. His target is this zone. His assignment is that zone, not that wide receiver. So he might be kind of like starting in the middle. Yeah, you've got this cornerback on this wide receiver. He's really just playing the flat, but that could look like man. But then you go to your next read here. There's nobody over the wide receiver, and I keep writing the Jack. The Jack's right here, the Sam. This, like, the odds of this being man coverage is close to zero. Like, you're not going to have this Sam playing very inside. Like, there's a gap here. He's not shoulder. It's not his right shoulder to this wide receiver's left shoulder. That is just flat out. Really, it's just not man coverage. And this Jack is almost directly, in line this way with this tight end. He's on the edge, right? You're not gonna. That's not man coverage. This is basically a dead giveaway that we have zone coverage when we do this trips left. And you're going to know more times if it's zone coverage than you will if it's man. Like, know for sure. Like, I know for sure this is zone coverage. With man coverage, if you get a look like I showed earlier with the, the cornerback right here, and then you got the Sam right there, and then we take out this Jack, that could be man. That could be. I don't think it is, but it could be. I'm saying I don't think it is if I'm putting the Sam kind of in the box. But it's tricky. That one's tricky. That one's a trickier one. Explaining it sometimes in simple terms is tough, but I still think that one's basic enough if you continue to do your research and just try to get the base of what I was trying to say. I know I make that a little complicated, a little more complicated than I wanted to, but that is kind of that third and final concept.